All right, we're looking at prehistoric man, so-called, the evolutionary intermediary species between ape and man. And they thought Java man, evolutionists thought Java man was the big deal. Pithecanthropus, one. Lubenow, in his book, Bones of Contention, page 127, wrote Java man, Pithecanthropus 1, was the first of at least 222 similar fossil individuals that have been discovered to date. And he was supposed to be the lauded intermediary species between ape and man. We've already looked at this, and we go down to the cranial capacity of Homo erectus, the intermediary species, supposedly. The cranial capacity of Homo erectus goes from about 700 cc to about 1200 cc. The latest Peking Man skull. Neanderthal is possibly going a bit higher. If the archaic Homo sapiens fossils are factored in, they would fit in at the transition, with cranial capacities of about 1100 cc to about 1300. So Homo erectus and the Neanderthals are very similar in cranial morphology. Really, same species. They're not too far apart and not enough time between the two. In the question period following a lecture by Neanderthal authority Eric Trinkhaus, I asked him, other than brain size, what are the differences in cranial morphology between Homo erectus and Neanderthal? His reply was virtually none. Here's a guy supporting evolution. Public lecture on the Neanderthals by Eric Trinkhaus, Colorado State University, 1984. So Dr. Don Patton, in his tape, says the representatives of Homo erectus were among the earliest representatives of so-called missing links in the study of fossil man. We can summarize. Homo erectus were the two representatives, Peking Man and Java man. The Java man basically is two pieces, the cranium and the leg bone. And so much went into facial structures and everything else which are just not attainable with so little evidence. One little bone and a cap of a skull. Are they related? They were not found together, the leg bone and the cranium cap. Many say they shouldn't be. The casts that were sent around the world and from which the restorations were made were falsified according to Herr Delicacy of the Smithsonian Institute. How do you restore the entire face, mouth, ears, eyes, nose, hair, and everything from a tiny little skull cap? Kidding, right? Take a photograph of people in the modern man age, and there are all kinds of nose, mouth, eyes shapes and forms. On the other hand, the Peking Man first was found as a new genus on the basis of one tooth, and later 100 individuals were found in a fruit jar. Wow, the Peking skull. So restoration was based on fragments of 100 separate individuals, all of which were lost. So this is what this guy looked like. But the guy comprised the bones of 100 separate individuals. Wow. These guys should be fiction writers. They were given to Ruth Moore, she says, in a fruit jar. Later she said that they were remains of 100 individuals that were found and then given to here in a fruit jar altogether. Also, it wasn't revealed initially that there was a modern skull found in the same set of caves, Dragon Bone Hill, near Peking. Many would suggest, considering the evidence, especially the curious number of small skull fragments, that they were hunting this ape-like creature that was restored from so many pieces. All of the craniums were crushed in the back. There was no postcranial material. The rest of the skeleton was not there. Sounds like cannibalism. Just the skulls. And all of them had the back bashed in, the back of the skull, like somebody had removed the brains, which is a delicacy in China. Wow. Human cannibalism of brains. And later, 100 individuals were found in the fruit jar. The discovery was also involved in the Piltdown hoax. And then all of this evidence in the fruit jar was mysteriously lost. We have none of it today. So that's 90% of what you have for Homo erectus in a fruit jar. Different bones from different people. This is what one guy looked like. Dr. Patton also says, how is it that trained men, the greatest experts of their day, could look at a set of modern human bones, the cranial fragments, and see a clear simian signature in them, and see in the ape's jaw the unmistakable signs of humanity? The answers inevitably have to do with the scientists' expectations and their effects on the interpretation of data. How do you have any integrity? It is, in the fact, a common fantasy promulgated mostly by the scientific profession itself, that in the search for objective truth, data dictates conclusions. If this were the case, then each scientist faced with the same data would necessarily reach the same conclusion. But as we've seen earlier, and we'll see again and again, frequently this does not happen. Data are just as often molded to fit preferred conclusions. Wow. Roger Lewin, editor of Research News, Science Bones of Contention. Java Man went into Dubois' locker for a time. His locker. He hid it for decades. But Peking Man seems to have gone into Davy Jones's locker, and for good. He disappeared. One of the first casualties of the war in the Pacific, 500,000 years after he had died the first time. Wow. Nothing there about prehistoric man of validity. Now we're going to look at Wajak Man. Real discoveries support design creation when properly investigated. Wajak Man is another one. Lubenow treats that in his book. Really great book, Bones of Contention. Lubenow, author. Get it. Wajak skulls, found before Dubois discovered Pithecanthropus, Java Man, are truly those of modern man, morphologically speaking. Whereas Pithecanthropus had a cranial capacity of 1,000 cc, the Wajak skulls have cranial capacities of 1,550 c and 1,650 cc, respectively. Although Dubois called them Homo wajakensis, there has never been any doubt that they belong to the same species as modern humans and should be classed as Homo sapiens. The Wajak skulls were found in 1888 and 1890. Dubois brought them back from Java in 1895 and kept them sequestered in his home in Haarlem, Holland. He made no public announcement about these fossils until May 1920. Wow, 30 years later, they were found. The motivation then for Dubois' revelation of his Wajak discoveries was that Stuart A. Smith published a monograph on Talgai Man, claiming that he had discovered the first Proto-Australian. Dubois' massive ego, could not let that claim go unchallenged. He unveiled his 30-year-old Wajak skulls, stolen away or sealed away for 30 years, and said that he had discovered the first Proto-Australian years before Smith did. If Dubois had revealed the Wajak fossils at the time he revealed Pithecanthropus, his beloved Pithecanthropus would never have been accepted as the missing link. There is evidence that Wajak was approximately the same age as Pithecanthropus, so to sell Pithecanthropus, Dubois had to hide Wajak. There you go. Money, money, money. To preserve the uniqueness of Pithecanthropus as the missing link, Dubois had to make sure that no fossils of more modern morphology could be assigned to the same stratigraphic level or given the same date. He did this by 1. Changing the assignment of Codonic Brovis jawbone from Homo to Pithecanthropus, while at the same time withholding any description or illustration of it so one could challenge his assignment, and hiding Wajak for 30 years so that no one would know he had found such fossils until Pithecanthropus had been thoroughly established in the human thought stream as our evolutionary ancestor. Still in textbooks today. Among the fossil fauna at Wajak was the species of tapir, Tapirus indicus. Tapir is a hoofed mammal that looks like a pig, but is considered to be more closely related to the rhinoceros. In 1951, an article by American Museum of Natural History anthropologist Dirk Halbert Huger, in which he writes, Tapirus indicus, suddenly extinct in Java since the Middle Pleistocene, proved to be represented in the Dubois collection from the Wajak site, central Java, which is late, if not post-Pleistocene in age. Another lie. They get the geological age of Pithecanthropus, Megathempos, and Gigantopithecus, American Journal of Physical Anthropology, a well-established magazine on paleontology. Huger clearly states that Wajak is late or post-Pleistocene, that is, about 10,000 years ago. Yet a species of tapir that became extinct in the Middle Pleistocene was found by Dubois among the fossil fauna. Now we understand why Dubois hid the Wajak fossils rather than reveal them and try to explain away this Tapirus indicus. Fossil forms that are known to have become extinct or believed to be extinct within a specific time frame can be important indicators in dating fossil assemblages. And he had other ideas in mind. The question comes to mind. If Tapirus indicus was found in the Wajak faunal assemblage, and if this species of tapir is believed to have become extinct in the Middle Pleistocene, why couldn't Wajak be Middle Pleistocene? In spite of Dubois' original claim that the Pithecanthropus was of Pleistocene age, and it is now universally placed in the Middle Pleistocene. That would mean that the big-brained Wajak skulls and smaller-brained Pithecanthropus skull cap could be approximately the same age. Wajak and Pithecanthropus, both in the Middle Pleistocene, would not fit the evolutionary scenario well at all. In fact, it would be evidence against it. We certainly understand now why Dubois hid the Wajak skulls for 30 years. Wow. He gets a chance to publish things all over again. Get more money. Lubenow says, of the 77 localities where Homo erectus fossils have been found, more than half, 42 of these sites, have also yielded stone tools. At 11 of the Homo erectus sites, there is evidence of the controlled use of fire. 3 Homo erectus sites now show evidence of burial, one of cremation. One of the use of red ochre, and another of the use of bone chipping tools. One of the most popular myths of human evolution is that stone tools testify to the increasing mental and conceptual abilities of humans as they evolve. The fallacy of the evolutionary archaeologist was to equate simpler with primitive. However, almost every basic style of tool has been found with almost every category of human fossil material. One species, different variety. Of these primitive Oldowan tools, Lawrence Robbins commented, it is interesting that these oldest of technological items were among the most successful inventions, for they continued to be manufactured throughout the entire Stone Age. Lawrence Robbins, Archaeology in the Turkana district in Kenya, Science magazine. If these Oldowan tools were so successful and efficient that they were used throughout the entire so-called Stone Age, if they were the best tools for certain jobs, and if they were still the best tools for certain jobs in some parts of the world today, is it intellectually honest for evolutionists to refer to them as primitive and use them as evidence for the evolution of the human brain? One of the most common Archeolin tools is the hand axe, which is in the past has almost been exclusively identified with Homo erectus. So, complete with this identification with Homo erectus, that if hand axes were found at a habitation site, it was called a Homo erectus site, even though no Homo erectus fossils were found there so to identify it. Now it is known that Archean tools, including hand axes, have also been found in Homo sapiens files. Furthermore, many Asian Homo erectus fossils are found with tools considered to be more primitive than those of the Archeolin culture. In Asia, it is now believed bamboo tools were used more extensively than stone tools, which could account for stone tools being less frequent and more primitive there. See, everybody makes up their own stories. They don't even check with each other to be consistent. Fiction. More on this next time.